Have you ever had this happen? Someone smiles at you and asks, "Can you tell me about yourself?" And suddenly, your heart beats faster, your mind goes completely blank. You know English, you've studied grammar, you've memorized hundreds of words, but at the exact moment you need to speak, nothing comes out. Not because your English is bad, because nobody ever taught you what to say.
The truth is, introducing yourself is one of the most common English conversations you'll ever have. You'll use it at school, in job interviews, when traveling, at work, and every time you meet someone new. The good news? You don't need perfect English. You don't need difficult vocabulary. You only need one simple formula that works almost every time. By the end of this video, you'll be able to introduce yourself clearly, naturally, and with confidence. And don't miss the final part, because I'll show you one small mistake that makes many English learners sound unnatural. Even advanced students make it without realizing it. Think about it. Before people know your skills, your experience, or your personality, they hear your introduction. That first conversation creates a first impression. In just a few seconds, people often begin to decide if you seem confident, friendly, and easy to talk to. Whether you're meeting a teacher, joining a new class, attending a job interview, traveling abroad, or making a new friend, your self-introduction is usually the first step. The good news is that confidence doesn't come from using big or difficult words. It comes from speaking in a clear, organized way. Many English learners believe they need perfect grammar or a native accent before they can introduce themselves well. But that's not true. People aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for someone they can understand. When your introduction is simple, natural, and easy to follow, conversations become much easier. People feel more comfortable talking to you, and you feel more confident speaking English. So the real question isn't, how can I speak perfect English? It's, what's the easiest way to introduce yourself? Here's the simple formula you'll use every time you introduce yourself. It has 5 easy steps. You don't have to memorize long speeches or complicated sentences. Just remember these 5 parts, and you can change them to fit almost any situation. Let's start with the first one.
Step 1, say your name. This may sound obvious, but it's the foundation of every introduction. The easiest way is, "My name is Anna." This is clear, polite, and perfect for formal situations like school, interviews, or meeting someone for the first time. In everyday conversations, most native speakers simply say, "I'm Anna." It's shorter, more natural, and much more common. Sometimes you'll also hear, "You can call me Anna." This is useful if your full name is difficult to pronounce or if you prefer using a nickname. For example, "Hi, I'm Anna. Nice to meet you." Or, "My name is Anna, but you can call me Anna." Here's a small tip that will instantly make your English sound more natural. Instead of saying, "My name is," every single time, try using "I'm." Native speakers use "I'm" much more often in everyday conversations because it sounds relaxed and friendly. Don't worry about choosing the perfect sentence. The important thing is to say your name clearly and confidently. Now that you've introduced yourself, the next question is simple. Who are you? What do you do? Step 2, say where you're from. Now that people know your name, the next step is to tell them where you're from. This is one of the easiest ways to start a conversation because people often become curious about your city or country. The most common sentence is, "I'm from New York." If you want to talk about where you live now, say,
I live in Chicago. And if you're talking about the place where you spent your childhood, you can say, I grew up in Seattle. These sentences are similar, but they have different meanings. I'm from tells people your hometown or where you come from. I live in tells people where you live now. I grew up in tells people where you spent your childhood. For example, hi, I'm Anna. I'm from Boston. Or, I'm Michael. I live in Austin, Texas. Or, hi, I'm Emily. I grew up in San Diego, California. You don't need to give a long explanation. One simple sentence is enough. Now, people know who you are. And they know where you're from. So naturally, they'll want to know one more thing. What do you do? Step 3. Talk about what you do. Now it's time to tell people a little about your daily life. This is the part where they start to know you. Not just your name, but who you are. Remember, you don't need to explain everything. One clear sentence is much better than 5 confusing ones. For example, you could say, hi, I'm Anna. I'm from Seattle, and I'm a university student. I study computer science. Or, I'm Michael. I live in Boston, and I work as a teacher. If you're in school, you can simply say, I'm a student. If you have a job, say, I work as a teacher. Or maybe, I work as a nurse. I work as a software engineer. If you're learning English, don't be afraid to say it. You can simply say, I'm learning English. It's a great conversation starter, and many people will appreciate your effort. If you're studying a specific subject, you can say, I study computer science. Or, I study business. I study biology. See how your introduction is slowly becoming a story? You started with your name, then where you're from. Now people know what you do. But here's the part that makes your introduction memorable. Let's talk about your hobbies and interests. Step 4, share your interests. Now we're getting to the most interesting part of your introduction. Your hobbies and interests tell people what kind of person you are. Maybe you enjoy reading before bed. Maybe you play football every weekend. Or maybe you love traveling and exploring new places. These small details make your introduction feel real and memorable. Here are some simple ways to talk about your interests. I enjoy reading books. I love football. I like traveling. I enjoy cooking. You can also combine 2 interests. For example, I enjoy reading books and listening to music. Or, I love football and I like spending time with my friends. Don't worry if your hobbies seem ordinary. You don't need exciting hobbies to make a good impression. In fact, simple interests often start the best conversations. Imagine you tell someone, I love football. They might say, really? Me too. What's your favorite team? Or if you say, I enjoy cooking. They may ask, what's your favorite dish to cook? See what happened? Your introduction didn't just give information. It started a conversation. That's why this step is so powerful. People may forget your job, but they often remember your hobbies because they help others connect with you. Now your introduction has a name, a place, a job or study, and your interests. There's just one final step that brings everything together and leaves a great last impression. Step 5. Finish naturally. You've shared your name, you've said where you're from,
You've talked about your work or studies, and you've shared a few of your interests. Now it's time to end your introduction with a friendly closing. A good ending leaves a positive final impression and invites the other person to continue the conversation. Here are some simple and natural ways to finish. Nice to meet you. It's great to be here. I'm happy to meet everyone. These sentences are short, polite, and easy to remember. For example, you could say, "Hi, I'm Anna. I'm from Boston. I work as a teacher. I enjoy reading books and hiking. Nice to meet you." Or, "I'm Michael. I live in Seattle. I study computer science and I love football. It's great to be here." Notice how the ending feels warm and confident? You don't need to say anything complicated. A simple smile and a friendly closing are often enough. Now you know all 5 steps. The best part? You can use the same formula almost anywhere. In school, at work, while traveling, during interviews, or whenever you meet someone new. So let's put everything together and see what a complete natural self-introduction sounds like. Now let's put all 5 steps together. Listen carefully to this introduction. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Just pay attention to how each sentence flows naturally into the next. Hi, I'm Anna. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I work as a graphic designer, and I'm also learning Spanish. In my free time, I enjoy reading books, hiking, and trying new coffee shops. It's great to meet you. Simple, natural, and easy to remember. Now, let's break it down. The first sentence was, "Hi, I'm Anna." That's step 1. Say your name. Next, "I'm from Boston, Massachusetts." That's step 2. Tell people where you're from. Then, "I work as a graphic designer, and I'm also learning Spanish." That's step 3. Talk about what you do. You can mention your job, your studies, or even something you're learning right now. After that, "In my free time, I enjoy reading books, hiking, and trying new coffee shops." That's step 4. Share your interests. This is the part that helps people remember you because it shows a little of your personality. And finally, "It's great to meet you." That's step 5. Finish with a warm, friendly closing. Did you notice something? None of these sentences are difficult. There are no advanced grammar rules. No complicated vocabulary, just 5 simple steps connected in a natural order. When you follow this structure, you don't have to stop and think about what to say next. You already have a clear path. And once you practice it a few times, introducing yourself in English will start to feel easy and confident. But there's one mistake that many English learners make, even after they know this formula. Let's look at that next. Now that you know the 5-step formula, there's one more thing you should understand. Not every introduction sounds the same. The way you introduce yourself depends on who you're talking to and where you are. Let's start with formal introductions. A formal introduction is used in professional or serious situations, such as a job interview, a business meeting, or when you're giving a presentation. In these situations, your language should be polite and professional. For example, "Good morning. My name is Anna Johnson. I'm from Boston, and I work as a marketing specialist. It's a pleasure to meet you." Notice the words "good morning," "my name is," and "it's a pleasure to meet you." They sound respectful and professional. Now let's shift into the casual register, noticeably more relaxed. Now let's compare that with a casual introduction. You use a casual introduction when you're making new friends, joining an English class, traveling, or talking to someone at a coffee shop. In these situations, you can sound more relaxed and friendly. For example, "Hi, I'm Anna. I'm from Boston. I love reading and hiking. Nice to meet you." It's shorter. It's more conversational, and it feels natural in everyday life. So, which one should you choose? Here's an easy rule to remember. If you're talking to a teacher, manager, interviewer, client, or someone you don't know in a professional setting, use a formal introduction. But if you're talking to classmates, travelers, neighbors, or new friends, a casual introduction is the better choice. The good news is that you don't need two completely different introductions. The 5-step formula stays exactly the same. You simply change your greeting, your tone, and a few words to match the situation. Once you understand the difference, you'll know exactly how to introduce yourself wherever you go. Now, let's practice with some real-life conversations that you can use every day. Now you know what to say, but knowing what not to do is just as important. Many English learners make the same 5 mistakes. The good news is that they're easy to fix. Mistake number 1, speaking too fast. When people feel nervous, they often speak much faster than normal. They think speaking quickly makes them sound more fluent, but the opposite is true. If you speak too fast, people may not understand you, and if they ask you to repeat yourself, you may feel even more nervous. Instead, slow down. Take a small pause between sentences. Speaking clearly is much more important than speaking quickly. Mistake number 2, using difficult words. Some learners try to impress people with advanced vocabulary. They choose words they don't normally use, then they forget a word halfway through the sentence, or they pronounce it incorrectly. Remember this. Simple English is powerful English. Instead of trying to sound intelligent, focus on being clear. A short, natural sentence is always better than a long, confusing one. Mistake number 3, memorizing every word. Many learners memorize one perfect introduction. It sounds great until someone asks a different question. Then they don't know what to say. Don't memorize a speech. Memorize the 5-step structure. When you understand the pattern, you can change your words naturally for any situation. That's what confident speakers do. Mistake number 4, sharing too much information. An introduction isn't your life story. You don't need to explain your childhood, every hobby, every job you've had, or your future plans. Keep it short. Give enough information to start a conversation, then let the other person ask questions if they want to know more. A good introduction opens the door. It doesn't tell the whole story. Mistake number 5, stopping after your name. Some learners say, "Hi, I'm Anna." And then silence. They don't know what comes next. That's exactly why the 5-step formula is so helpful. After your name, you already know the next step. Where you're from, then what you do, then your interests, then a friendly ending. You never have to wonder what to say next again. Now you've learned the formula. You've seen real examples. And you know the 5 mistakes to avoid. But there's one final trick that makes introductions much easier to remember and even easier to use in real conversations.
If this lesson helped you feel more confident, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next English lesson. We publish simple, practical English that you can use in real life, from daily conversations and speaking practice to listening and vocabulary.